Yo, my tappers, this is LD from Tappy Music, tapping in. And we got to talk about this today. So we got Sneakbo and Yxng Bane going at each other on Twitter today. So it's an interesting duo to kind of point the two. I never know they had any relation. I never know they had any issues. And as I go along, what's been said on Twitter, you lot are going to be as shocked as I was when this came about. But these two had a little altercation online. Yxng Bane put out a tweet, very general tweet, very indirect, not directed at anyone at all. And Sneakbo was all over it. Let me go through the tweets with you guys now. So, first and foremost, Yxng Bane made a tweet saying, if you were bad like 10 years ago, we ain't trying to hear it. It's even a new decade, LOL. You might have to renew the CV, bad man. Now, this statement is very true. I feel like once you're past that, you should never really try to preach on or talk about that unless you're trying to give game. But regardless anyway, Sneakbo was all over that tweet. Sneakbo tweeted back at Baney saying, talk up, say some names. I hate when you pussy niggas talk bad cause of the internet. Don't let who you around gas you. Fucking flower man. Okay, so real explicit, real straight in there, no cap on it whatsoever. And then he carried on to say, I've realized my man over there waffles a lot. Fuck your opinion, it don't help how I'm living. If it's not direct, don't pay no attention to it. Clowns. And then, that was interesting in itself, just to see Sneakbo just come so aggressively at Yxng Bane when Yxng Bane made a general statement. Baney replied back to Sneakbo saying, here we go, insecurities again. And I can't lie, he's kind of right. Yxng Bane went on to say, it's an open statement. You feeling like the shoe fits is your problem, not mine. When I've had issues with artists, I've pulled up on my life. I've called them on my life. If it was about you, Mr. Sneakbo, I'd hit you up definitely. So you have a better day. That was kind of the end of the back and forth. Yxng Bane went on to explain himself when Lippy kind of pulled him up about the situation. So Lippy Lick Shots, part of the listening party and For the Culture podcast, he tweeted, it's embarrassing. Yxng Bane done one of my favorite UK tunes ever with that Rihanna tune. That song is a fucking madness. He don't need to be online indirecting man to update their badness. Like I said on Listening Party, mature artists are getting gassed up by drill teenagers. And Yxng Bane replied to that tweet saying, okay, so you got the wrong end of the stick. I'm telling man, if you were bad 10 years ago, we don't want to hear it about it. You've got a new life for a reason, so stop lying to the youths. And Lippy replied, if that's what you meant, then I fully heard that. I've been screaming that. And Yxng Bane went, you feel me? So back and forth between Yxng Bane and Sneakbo is very interesting to say the least. I do have to say, we don't know what happens in the background. We don't know what's taking place. One thing I can say is that Yxng Bane definitely did make a very open statement. And you should not reply to that statement unless you feel the shoe fits. Now, again, we don't know what's being said behind closed doors. So for all we know, Sneakbo knew that it was directed at him. So it's interesting to say the least, because that was an open statement. It was just an open, generalized statement. Sneakbo choosing to reply to it and is like, hey, speak up, say names. That is a reaction of someone that believes that Yxng Bane is speaking about him. Regardless anyway, one thing that is really interesting from this whole situation is that the UK industry is not as pally as we seem to think it is. There's obviously a lot of issues between a lot of people which is taking place, and we are not privy to the information of it. But this one's an interesting one. We're going to see how this one develops. There was also a tweet from RV saying, no Bane slander around here. So it's really interesting. People are picking sides, it seems. So it's interesting to see how this story is going to develop. I want to know what you guys think, though. I want to know, what do you think about the statement Bane made? What do you think about Sneakbo's reaction? Who's in the wrong? And where has this all come from? Make sure to subscribe and like. This is LD from Tappy Music, tapping out. You lot stay safe, stay corona free.